This is the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri on Pulse 95.
It sure is that time. It's the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri. I am your host, covering everything sport, international and local. Hope you're having a blessed day wherever you're tuned in around the world, whether it's 95 FM, Pulse95Radio.com, our app, Sharjah Broadcasting Authority, or even in the comfort of your own home, watching us live on YouTube. Shout out to my boy Gabby and Super Mario. We're cooking up something behind the scenes here for you, so I'm sure you're going to be interested to see what's coming up this week, because we do things a little bit more different here at Pulse 95 Radio. We like to consider ourselves unique. So let's try and put this show for you in perspective. Let's try and make this our count, and let's bring that energy to the table as always. What are you doing to get yourselves ready for 2021? And are you resetting and reflecting already? That's the topic of the day on the show today. With 2020 serving up a few surprises, does it change the way you're approaching 2021? If so, how are you doing that? Share that with me. I want to hear all about that today. What will you be doing differently? Will you take on a new challenge to keep you busy? And what 3 negative mindsets will you be working on to eliminate? Now, I had a friend of mine actually who was doing a bit of reflecting herself, and she actually inspired me today to put this forward for you on the show. And it made me think how things have been in 2020 for all of us. Now, I want to hear from you guys. So make sure you let me know wherever you're tuned in, guys. And shout out to everyone who's tuned in on my Instagram, at Omar Al-Duri. That's not only the thing that's coming up. The year of the fans. With COVID-19 changing sport, has that given us more of a say as fans? That's the one thing I'm talking about. And also, what were your moments of the year? Sports-wise, life-wise, I want to hear about it. Text me on 4215, Ittasalat, or slide into my DMs at Omar Al-Duri on Instagram and let me know. This show will be nothing without you, so go get yourself something to drink, get yourselves ready, and we'll be right back after this. Enjoy.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri on Pulse 95.
Sure is that time. It's the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri. I'm your host, covering everything sport, international, local. It's got a nice feeling today. Today's show came in a little bit earlier. Saw Gabby, Super Mario, just jamming, getting something ready for you guys, to get your teeth sunk into for 2021, which is great to be part of the team. I'm very, very happy to be part of the team, and a lot of reflection happening this year. We're a week away from 2021. That is mad, huh? I can't believe that. It's crazy. A lot of things coming out of this year. On the show today, the question I'm asking you guys today is, how are we reflecting coming up to the end of 2020, and how are we taking that into 2021? With 2020 serving us a few surprises, does it change the way you're approaching the new year? And also, what will you be doing differently? Accountability is massive. So what 3 negative mindsets will you be working on to eliminate? And will you be taking on a new challenge to keep you busy? So those are the questions fired towards you. Now, this year has been the year of the fans. The magnitude, the power of the voice. We've often heard of the fans as the 12th man. Now that the 12th man has been taken away and to somewhat kind of resumed in some countries, but only at minimal capacity, how strong has the power of the fans come out of COVID-19? And not only that, the voices that have been coming out of the stadiums were something. The power that we kind of contemplated whether sport was mainly business, and it was something that didn't have that much weight when it came to fans. But now more than ever, the fan TV channels have obviously come out. YouTubers have obviously done their thing online, and we're listening to those people just as much, which is it's got its pros and its cons. Some of them are fantastic. Some of them are even friends of mine, which I watch their content. I kind of study and see what they're doing, which is great. But not only saying that, looking at that from a different perspective, now more than ever, fans have a voice. And that's something that, coming into the end of the 2020, we kind of realized, because even the experience of being able to share that with your friends, watching it at a stadium, is very, very different. Be it boxing, mixed martial arts, football, cricket, rugby, you name the sport. Being at the stadium is so different. And we've had a lot of events cancelled this year because of that. But when will we see a return for fans? And will this change the sport? We've heard about new waves. We've heard about a lot of things happening to be able to go back into lockdown. But when are we going to see fans back in the stadium, and how much have we missed them? Teams have reacted a lot differently without that kind of pressure. If we look at the Premier League, for example, teams like Southampton, teams like Aston Villa have been phenomenal this season because they have had no pressure to be able to deal with fans. And Aston Villa, people forget, just avoided relegation last year. And people like Tyrone Mings and Emi Martinez have been essential in that. But if we did have fans back in the stadium, would they be doing as well as they're doing now? That's something that, I'm shooting your way. 4215 Itasalat Urdu. Masoud says, I will recollect all positive moments, memories that can navigate me to build a positive, healthy and constructive mind. Excellent, Masoud. Right, guys, how are you feeling about that? And what are your tips for 2021? Normally you'll hear me throw some tips in there, but I want to hear what you guys are doing. Anita saying 2020 has been a year of resilience and resetting goals. For 2021, I aim to set myself small daily rules which will turn into healthy habits. Love it. I want more of that. And I'm going to play you some Anthony Tuma, and then we'll be right back after this. Enjoy.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri on Pulse 95.
Sure is that time. It's the Halftime Show with Omar Al-Duri. Thank you very much for connecting with me today. It's been a good week. We've had, it's been nice to be back in the studio, man. Honestly, we take things for granted. I'll tell you that now. Even the simple things, having to look over, we have a studio studio face to face with the other studio here, where you normally have, the Rays, the Samas, the RRs, the Vic S's, people that work with us here. It's nice to be back in the studio. It's nice to be able to speak to you guys, have, good conversation, and also ask you guys. 2020 has been challenging for all of us, all right? It's something that I think we've all kind of had to face our own way. Some of us have dealt with it better than others. Some of us have been unfortunate with a lot of things that, losing jobs and losing family members and all sorts of stuff. But coming away from that, what have you taken from 2020? And I mean that in a sense that, just reflection. There's a lot of reflection here. Hats was just talking about that now on my Insta as well, and he was telling me about that. But, questions to ask yourself moving into 2021. What areas of my life can I improve on? It shows a sense of vulnerability, it shows a sense of accountability, and also shows the fact you're willing to address things, which takes a lot, by the way. That's the first question I'm shooting your way. What are the 3 negative mindsets that you need to let go of? Now, I don't normally like talking about negativity, but this is something that could have a positive at the end of it. Now, sometimes we have these habits that we kind of build up eventually. What are the 3 negative mindsets that you're looking to let go of? It could be the smallest thing, by the way, that really adds up to our plate at the end of the day. And you wonder why you don't sleep well. It's because we kind of build this frustration, this anxiousness in our brain, in our mind, in our heart. And that's why it carries on. And then if I could take one thing on in 2021, what would it be? So this is kind of the show that we're putting forward towards you guys episode-wise. I'm kind of looking at that and thinking, yeah, there's so many things that I personally need to work on. I know that for sure. And being able to address them is another thing. I think for me, probably nutrition. Since I got COVID and then I had to isolate, did the 14 days, then I had to get tested again and had to do all these things. That was really, really challenging. And in the beginning, you can't taste and smell. So I've had friends who've contacted me and asked me about it. Now, by all means, I'm definitely no expert in COVID-19 patients. But one thing I will say, and I'm not a doctor, but one thing I will say is, the mindset, the power of the mindset has helped a lot manage things. Some people are still, suffering from small things after it, even if you get tested negative, etc. There's a lot of people that had struggled with that. So moving into 2021, what areas of your life can you improve on? Why don't you write that down? Put that on your phone or on paper. What areas can you improve on? Could be 1, 2, or even 3 things. The second question is, what are the 3 negative mindsets you need to let go of? And the third one is, if you could take one new thing on in 2021, what would it be? The last one, taking something new on in 2021, is interesting because I was speaking to my friend Zaki, and he was telling me he wants to take on, a couple of new things physically, but also the impact it has mentally on him is what helps him feel better. So I was really excited to hear, he's got plans, and that kind of inspires me to think, all right, so what do I need? What shall I take on? What's something that I can take on and try to tackle? And it's a sense of not knowing what to expect and being uncomfortable as well. So there's something for you guys. 4215 Itasalat Urdu. Let me know, what are you looking to take on? What are the 3 negative mindsets you need to let go of? And what are the areas in your life that you need to improve on? It's taking it that way, the show today, especially coming up to the last week of 2020. I'm sure 1 year ago, we were all sat down, pre-COVID. No one knew what was going to happen. I was in the US at that time as well. Could we have sat down a year ago knowing what's coming up this year? And that's something that I want you guys to tackle. Masoud is saying, I'm going to put everything pen on paper down and write down all the negative and positive impacts of 2020 and then degrade the all negative and work on the positive. Excellent, Masoud. I love that. I want to hear more of that, guys. Message me, 4215 Itasalat Urdu, or slide into my DMs at Omar Alduri and let me know those 3 questions that we set forward for you. What are the things you can improve on coming into 2021? What are the 3 negative mindsets you need to let go of? And what's one thing you'll take on you in 2021? We'll be right back after the Adhan. Stay tuned for more on Pulse 95.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Alduri on Pulse 95.
Sure is that time. It's the Halftime Show with Omar Alduri. Some wicked questions, by the way, coming in on my Instagram at Omar Alduri. Thank you very much, Mr. Ruth, for your questions, and everyone else who shot them my way. Really, really good. We're talking about today, what are we reflecting on and how we're going to reset for 2021, with 2020 serving up a few surprises. Does it change the way we're approaching 2021? A year ago today, I was sat in the US, okay, had no idea what was going to come ahead, what was going to happen to the world, not just me, and how I was going to react to it. Being involved in health and fitness, you think that, we're immune to these things. Absolutely not. We suffer just like anyone else. Depends how cool you play it. It doesn't matter. You're still going to feel what everyone else is feeling. So that was something I was thinking about, and I wanted to share with you guys. I wanted to see how you guys were approaching things coming into 2021. What will you be doing differently? Will you be taking on a new challenge to keep you busy? And with what 3 negative mindsets will you be working on to eliminate? Those were the questions of the day. Make sure you answer them on 4215 Itasalat Urdu. Now, with 2020, there's been a lot of sporting events cancelled, and there's been a lot of things that have been happening. But what have been your favorite moments of 2020? There's a couple of moments out there. Liverpool won the league at last. I'm sure Ahmed, Peaky Blinder Ahmed, will be like, Omar, what's your problem with Liverpool? I got no problem with Liverpool. I like Liverpool. But they won it at last. It took some time, but they won it, and they won it without fans as well, which is incredible. Australia were the world champion cricketers, which packed the MCG. That was big as well. You've also got Djokovic, who he might finish his career as the greatest men's tennis player of all time, but for some reason, there is this cloud over Djokovic that doesn't put him in the same bracket as your Federer, who has this type of elegance about him, who you can't not like Federer. So Djokovic had a good year. He was definitely doing his thing. Coming up to that, what up, Ray? Ray in the building. Lakers. The Lakers did it for Kobe. That was another thing. And it was supposed to be all about the Clippers in 2020, but their Los Angeles rivals stole the show and the title, all while paying tribute to Kobe Bryant, which was a blessing. Love to see how much respect they showed towards him. 5-time NBA champion Kobe Bryant was killed in a helicopter crash in January alongside his 13-year-old daughter and 7 others. And that was tough, very, very tough to take on board. But what were your moments? What kind of things did you find that stood out for you through 2020 in sports? What else have we have here? Let me have a look. Let's see. The Super Bowl, the Mahomes Super Bowl MVP madness through 3.5 Super Bowl quarters. Patrick Mahomes has been thwarted by the San Francisco 49ers defense. In fact, after fumbling twice and throwing 2 interception passes, some analysts thought it was the worst game the Chiefs quarterback had played for the season. Mahomes, who was named Super Bowl MVP, finished with 286 passing yards, 29 rushing yards, and 3 total touchdowns. Ha ha. To the haters. Then you also have Habib Nurmagomedov, who I couldn't pronounce his name last year, hit a bombshell when he retired. But has he retired? Is he going to retire? Will he have one more fight? And are we waiting for a certain Conor McGregor to step up for that much anticipated fight, or is GSP next? So there's a couple of things there looking for that. Tyson Fury, I wanted to say walloped Deontay Wilder. And I said it, but Tyson Fury demonstrated so many different sides of boxing, the art of boxing, the skill of boxing, but also character. Being hit by the bronze bomber with a right hand, which would have knocked out 99% of human beings, to get up, earn himself a draw, which in my opinion he had outboxed Deontay Wilder in the first fight, to come back and defeat Deontay Wilder the way he did and outskill him was definitely one of the highlights of the year. What else do we have? We've got a couple of things in here. You also had, well, I don't even want to say that because it wasn't that much of a highlight, but Arsenal won something that was big, and I am going to say because it's my show. And they're doing awful right now before all those people message me and say Arteta out. There were so many factors coming into 2020. Now with a lot of events coming up 2021, what are you looking forward to? What was your moment of 2020? And even if it was personal, 4215 Itasalat or do message me and I'll get back to you. I'm going to play you some Post Malone and Maroon 5 and we'll be right back after this. Enjoy, guys.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
I love being here, man. It's great. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in and spending your afternoon on Saturday with me, 3 to 4. Great. Really, really good topics today. We were talking about moments of the year, sports-wise, personally, or even in sport. What did you find that stood out this year? We named quite a few earlier, so if you missed the show, head over to our YouTube channel. Super Mario and Gabby do all their best to create a visual for you, the experience of being inside here with me and you guys, which is fantastic. And then you've also got the year of the fans. COVID-19 gave us a lot this year, but also showed us the importance of not having fans around. And last but not least, questions to ask yourself moving into 2021, inspired by our very own Anita. What areas of your life can you improve on? Write that down. What are the 3 negative mindsets you need to let go of? And if you could take on one thing in 2021, what would it be? And that was inspired by Zaki, actually, because he told me he's going to take on 2 new sports to be able to perform better in his life. So there you go. Shout out to Zaki as well, and Noura, and Kiki, and Amanda, and Maria, and everyone else who is tuned in. Right, okay, guys. So one of the things Tariq is saying, he wants to improve his fitness. A new thing is go back to school. And 3 negative things, I won't mention that on air. Right, okay. Team news is in for Leicester versus Manchester United, which is kickoff at 4:30. Leicester unchanged for the United test. Jamie Vardy is fit enough to start, and that means Brendan Rodgers has been able to name a starting lineup that is unchanged from the team that beat Tottenham. Manchester United coming into this looking strong. They've got the same lineup. Daniel James gets another start after his role in the 6-2 win over Leeds as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer makes his one change with Eric Bailly replacing Wan-Bissaka in defence. Will they change to a 3 instead of a back 4? That looks like it might happen. And that is going to be... Listen, there's a lot of sports being played this weekend, which is fantastic. And especially like when you're watching it in the UK, the Christmas period, Boxing Day, the New Year, you always have sports on. And I kind of love that. So I'm looking forward to watching that with my cousin Yassine and obviously my mum and Maria as well. And Lala and Nandi at home, which will be great. But yeah, there's so many factors, guys. Coming up to this week now, on the last week of the year, what would you like to hear more of or see more of? We've had some wicked guests on. Ali Salama was on last week talking about mental endurance, mental fitness, which was really, really good. Great show. And if you didn't see the show, I found out he could sing during the break and made him sing for us at the end of the show, which is great. It takes a lot of courage to do that as well. So shout out to Ali Salama and Yaz Ahmed as well for their contributions. But yeah, we're coming up to full time on the halftime show. Let me get that full time whistle on. Yeah. What would you like to see more of? I know there's a lot of football being played, so a lot of people are going to want that. If so, anything you want me to dive into specifically, tactically, or even on the coaching perspective, let me know. Shoot them my way. You can slide into my DMs at Omar Al-Duri and let me know what kind of topics you like. And I'll definitely cover those on the show coming up this week. This week is like reflection week. We're looking at all sorts of things that have helped people with their own kind of 2020 and also coming into 2021. Hatem is messaging saying, athlete psychology, how psychology plays a huge part. You know what, Hatem? There you go. I will deliver. I'm going to do some research, have a look at that, try and get a twist onto it, and put that on the show for you this week, Hatem, right? So people like that, I love, because wherever they are around the world, I know, Hatem, you're in the UK at the moment. Hope you're safe and hope your family's safe as well. And you have a perfect reset before 2021. And we are reaching full time on the halftime show, folks. Thank you so much for spending that time with me. I appreciate you guys, and I look forward to seeing you again Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, 3 to 4 Sharjah time, UAE, on the only place to be at 3, the halftime show on Pulse 95.
If you liked this episode of The Halftime Show, drop a like and subscribe.
95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.